Yeah.
2 years on the street. What's it feel like to be done?
Well, I mean, we're not done because I still have 3 more charges against me, and we still have the civil suit. But I'm very grateful that the jury came to this decision. I think that far too often people side with authority, even when authority is wrong. And I'm just very grateful that the jury had the courage to break with that.
For this to happen today, what does this mean going forward for you?
We're still pushing forward. We still want justice. As you know, Aborski and Snyder were never disciplined, fired, or arrested. That's an injustice right there. Norma never got her justice either. So we're going to keep pushing forward. We're going to fight the rest of the charges that we have against us, and hopefully we can push forward with the civil suit as well. I think that the people of Austin should question, why did we have a 4-day trial? Why did they spend all this money? Why were there 8 prosecutors in the room? Why were there up to a dozen cops who dropped in on the trial? And where is all that money coming from? Are they really trying to serve the people of Austin by pushing forward with these bogus charges?
You faced a lot of criticism for fighting the way you fought so publicly. And is this vindication for you? What does this say to the community?
Yeah, I don't know this is vindication. I'm very fortunate. I think that there's so many innocent people who've been convicted for crimes they didn't commit, and they didn't have the community that I have. And so I just feel very fortunate. I'm just so grateful that all the witnesses stepped forward. A lot of witnesses who had no idea who I was that night. I'm just so grateful that officer crossed the thin blue line to speak the truth. And I'm grateful that the jury members had the courage to stand up for the truth as opposed to being bullied by the prosecutor.
2 more questions. One, how weird is it that we had a 4-day trial for a Class C misdemeanor?
It's extremely weird. And again, I want the people of Boston to question, why is it that their tax dollars are going to push bogus charges, 4-day trials over a Class C misdemeanor?
But now going forward, you talked about your community. I mean, they're here filming. They've been with you along this way. What does it mean to have that community stick with you throughout this process?
It's amazing. And I mean, I just want to go back to the point again. There's so many victims of police abuse that don't have people that stand up for them. And I'm very, very lucky. I stood up for a woman who was being abused that night, but then a bunch of people stood up for me. And I just couldn't be luckier despite what the prosecutors and the police have done.
Last one, can you just say your last name so everybody at our station knows that we're not crazy?
Buehler.
Tony, I have a couple of questions for photography, notacrime.com. Can you sum up the last couple days of your trial and tell us how you feel about the verdict?
I mean, the last couple days have been, there's been a lot of curveballs, right? Because they tried to get a mistrial. A juror had to step off of the jury. The prosecutor lied multiple times, lied in closing statements. The behavior of the prosecutor was extremely questionable, and the prosecutor was clearly lying to cover up for the lies of police officers. And I think that we have to ask ourselves, why is it that we live in a society where cops who commit crimes are protected by prosecutors, as opposed to prosecutors seeking out justice?
Last question, what does the future hold for Peaceful Streets Project?
Hopefully it grows. Hopefully the movement for police accountability grows throughout the country. And hopefully one day police officers can't just go around committing crimes and getting away with it because they have a badge. I'm just very, very lucky that we had a brave jury who could see through the lies and they could come down on the right side of this. But again, most victims of police abuse aren't as lucky as I am.
Good. Congrats on your victory, Antonio.
They try to pull everything.
All right, what's your name again?
I'm sorry?
What will be your name again?
Okay, I'm sorry, Jermaine Hopkins.
Okay, and you testified on Antonio's behalf?
I did.
Okay, and how do you feel about the verdict?
I'm happy about it. I'm excited for Mr. Buehler.
Right, awesome. Do you feel like that you did the right thing when you stepped forward and crossed the quote-unquote thin blue line?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I put it in those words. I mean, I did what I'm obligated to do. I mean, that's the oath I took. I don't think I really crossed the line, but I mean, as I've told Mr. Buehler, I apologize for not being available sooner. So, I mean, I think that's my one regret, but I am very excited for Mr. Buehler.
Do you have any regrets?
Oh, I mean, as far as for what I did?
As far as testifying?
No, I don't. I mean, I believe APD is a agency that cannot police itself, and I mean, unfortunately, it's at the higher levels. So,
Are there some good things that you notice also when you work for APD that that you give some credit for some things?
There are, but I mean, I believe that the problems in APD is where you would expect the integrity to be maintained, and that's in the administration and internal affairs. So I believe had the administration done its job, internal affairs done its job, then Mr. Buehler would have had justice a lot sooner.
What would you like to see come out of the trial? Would you like to see any sort of civil rights trainings for the officers or anything of that nature?
I think accountability at the administration level is the biggest thing. I mean, if you want to change any organization, I don't care what type of organization it is, you always have to start at the top. I mean, changes start at the top, not the bottom. The top sets the tempo for everyone else.
Great. Thank you for your time, Jermaine.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Two officers are willing to come forward with the manner that you have.
I think what it is, and I mean, if you think about police work, I mean, you really do deal with people don't call you over to, for Thanksgiving dinner. They call you when something's going on. So you only see the negative, and after a while you become somewhat biased. I mean, you're going to take your fellow officer's word and leave it at that. You're not really going to dig. I mean, it took my experience for me to dig, and it just so happened, fortunately for Mr. Buehler, I was able to see inconsistencies and whatnot. So I think that's the biggest thing. If that makes sense.
Right on. Thanks.
To it is an officer crossed the line to testify here. How would you have reacted to that at the very start, about 6 months into it?
That was actually the expectation. I thought the police officers were going to step up and say something's wrong. And then I became very dejected by the fact that no one was. And then 3 years in, I just assumed that there was no such thing as a police officer that would cross the thin blue line.
Yeah.
And so it was a very pleasant surprise. And I actually think that he was a huge part of this case. Without him, I don't know that we would have won.
Absolutely. I think
A lot of heroes today.
But yeah, that's it. I wish I could take this question, record it, and show it to you 3 years ago.
Fair enough. Yeah.
It'd be wild. Anyway, but
fair
that's
enough.
it for me.
All right.
So, this is fine to get caught?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great, and hopefully it'll spur other people to do the same.
So, Antonio, why do you think this case is more important than just a Class C misdemeanor? You've been here for 4 days. Why is it more important than just being this Class C misdemeanor that they're trying you for?
I think that this case highlights the lengths that the Austin Police Department and the city prosecutors will go to cover up the crimes of police officers. It's a Class C misdemeanor, and they were willing to stack the courtroom with prosecutors and cops over a 4-day period to try to get a $500 fine out of someone, or a $1 fine, as Mr. McCabe made it clear. They don't want to see justice. What they want to do is they want to protect their power.
Seemed like the APD was the one on trial. It looks like they lost this one.
I'd like to see him on trial.